Hey everybody, it's Carol Clark,
And I'm Alice Edgerton.
and we're here to talk to you about a topic that we get a lot of questions about.
All the time, people ask this number one question.
Why can't I sleep? Yeah, so we'll try not to yawn here for you. But the truth of the matter is, the American Psychology Association and a number of other organizations have clearly stated that we each need 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
Yes.
When's the last time you had that?
Well, I have learned how to control my elements, and I do say that probably 5 out of 7 nights I am averaging at least 8 hours.
I think
That's
I-
right.
I do too.
Yes. Yeah.
7, between 7 and 8. But anyhow, the average sleep that people report is about 6.7 hours, which sometimes I think might be a little bit higher than what people tell us anyhow. And really, about only 20% of the American population say that they get good or excellent sleep at night. So 80% of the people out there don't think they're getting a good night's sleep. So, and sleep is so important to us. We're going to get into a little bit about that, but it's so important for muscle repair, for your whole body to repair, and it's also necessary, for our memory and memory consolidation.
Exactly.
So, those are some of the things that's really important for. But let's talk a little bit about what causes us to have poor sleep.
Yeah, we have 3 causes that really we're going to go over with you today. And the 3 of them are internal, and then you have external, and then you have behavior. So your internal is, let's say you just had a high stress level day. And a lot of us may be working corporate America. There's a lot of work stress that goes on. And then you come home to your family. And so you turn that around and then there's more stress. And then some of us at this phase of life, we are taking care of our aging parents. So you're adding more stress onto that. So our internal behavior causes some of that stress to go on, and then we may sink into a depression. So that's going to have an effect on our sleep also. And then if you are into the phase that we are pretty much in, is the perimenopause and the menopause. That is another thing that I think women really, really struggle with at this season of their life.
For sure.
And then it creates our sleep disturbances. So you may be able to get to sleep really well, but you're waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're tossing and turning, you can't go back to sleep. So that is touching a little bit on your internal.
Mm-hmm. So frustrating when
It
happens.
is. It is so frustrating. And then your external, you get hot. So suppose you're in that season of life and you're getting some hot flashes and you feel like that temperature has been turned up to 200 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting hot and then you're getting cold. And so one of the main things that they say also is when you are getting up in the middle of the night and then you're going back to bed, that little bit of light that comes from your phone that you may have on your bedside actually triggers something in your brain and you have a difficulty going back to sleep. So the American Psychology Association will recommend that you put your phone like in another room, across the room, just have it so no light is interfering there. And then, so that goes right to access to your electronics. Just like put them down, close it. Okay, so when you are going to bed, do not you're scrolling through social media and then you put it down, you expect to go to sleep. It's going to be very, very difficult. Mm-hmm. I know I have a 23-year-old son who plays Fortnite all night almost, and then he complains that he can't sleep. It's like, how do you go to sleep after you're playing that gaming thing for 3 hours?
Right.
He comes in from a stressful job at corporate America and then he gets on that gaming system and he can't sleep. So it really doesn't matter what age you are. Sometimes it depends on your electronics. And I have to tell you a story. Like this morning, it was on Good Morning America. Mm-hmm. They did a study with 10 teenagers on social media and their electronics. And then they asked them they took away their electronics for 1 week. Some of them about died on that. But then they came back and asked how that challenge went. And so the girl who was doing the story, she asked them, how many people slept better? All 10 of them raised their hand. So it's proven.
I believe that. I know when I go to say goodnight to my kids, my daughter who's in high school, I always see that glow under the covers because they're checking out what's going on.
Yeah.
And certainly can affect their sleep, especially if you see something on social media that might upset you, or you start that comparison thing with somebody else, or whatever it may be. It can get you all jazzed up before it's time for you to relax and go to sleep.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so then the last cause is your behavior. So it is late night snacking. For one, it's never good. So it will also not only cause you not to sleep well, but it will also cause you to gain weight. We know that you don't want to do that. And then take a look at your alcohol consumption like before you go into bed. Some people think like it's a sedative. Well, actually it is not. Mm-hmm. It is a depressant, and then you can go to sleep, but you can't stay asleep with it.
And it's a diuretic, so then you have to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom.
Yes, so that's caffeine. So, even if you're super sensitive to caffeine, I know some people say they can't drink anything with caffeine after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So be conscious of your caffeine consumption. And then, so a good thing to do actually is exercise. Mm-hmm. Any point during the day, they say that exercise will really help just relax you, create a better mood for you, and hopefully put you in a better sleep schedule.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So bottom line is lack of sleep, did you know it actually shortens your life expectancy?
I don't want my life shortened.
Right. That is scary to me. So it's been proven through the National Sleep Foundation of all things. So let's say you're one of those people you don't have good sleep. So we're going to talk next week a lot about what you can do about that because it's a lot to put into one podcast. But for here, what I really want to talk about, what does it do to you if you don't get enough sleep? Like what does that do to our bodies? And a lot of you know probably because you're living it every day, but it makes us a bit grumpy. Kind of not very pleasant to be around is one of them. It also causes poor performance at work. It causes poor performance, especially when driving. There are so many accidents caused by people who are sleep deprived, and so it makes it you're not very alert. So it causes poor performance not only at home but at work, and also when you're driving or anything like that. It actually causes a number of health issues. One of them is hypertension. Another one of them is diabetes. So I'm going to get into a little bit about how it affects weight gain. It's a big issue for people. And of course, once you gain weight, those comorbid situations like hypertension and diabetes set in pretty rapidly and pretty easily. It also lowers your libido, or your desire to have sex.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
gosh.
You think lack of sleep, something else might be happening, but no, it's the opposite. It causes you to have less of a desire to have sex. So that's really, really important. It causes that brain fog. You can't really concentrate well. You just feel like you're just not really there during the day. And I'm sure, anyone who's not getting good sleep, which apparently is about 80% of the population, knows those symptoms. And probably the one that we deal with a lot as women, and Alice and I in working with women, is that whole weight gain situation. And there's lots of reasons for that. Mm-hmm. When you sleep, your body actually produces growth hormone. Not as much as when you were younger, but it does produce that. And what does that do for you? When you have great, solid sleep, that actually increases your metabolism. It helps you to build muscle. It helps control your weight. So if you're not getting good sleep, you're not really having growth hormone production. So that's one part of it. The other thing is your body produces a hormone called, some people say ghrelin, some people say ghrelin. It's like tomato. But anyhow, what it does is it also increases your production of that hormone, ghrelin. And what that does is it causes you to be hungry. And yet it also lowers your leptin production, which is another hormone. And your leptin hormone is what causes you to feel full, satisfied. So if your ghrelin is up, so you're more hungry, and your leptin is down, meaning that's what keeps you full. So what tends to happen, and it's been statistically shown, is that people who have poor sleep actually take in about 500 extra calories a day.
Wow.
So what
That's a
happens
lot.
then, you're taking in more food, you're also not building that growth hormone, it also affects your cortisol levels, but it's which is an effect that causes you to store fat. So you have all these hormones that are totally mixed up.
Yeah.
And it causes weight gain, truly. So that's why whenever you're going through any sort of weight loss program, they're always like, get a good night's sleep.
Yes.
That's really super important for you. So that's really, really important. So, and as women, Alice talked a bit about the perimenopause and menopause. Our hormones are changing, obviously, and you have a lower production of estrogen and women testosterone. That's one of our hormones.
Yeah.
And also your progesterone. Those are those are all lowering during your menopause period, your perimenopause period. So what happens is that's what also causes some insomnia and sleep problems, along with a lot of other symptoms. So we're going to talk a little bit about that real quick now, and the next week we're going to spend a lot more time on treatment for people who have sleep disturbances. And but for hormones, it's really one of those things that sometimes it helps to just get your hormones checked. Get your hormones checked, and a lot of times, not all the right hormones are checked. But we would encourage you, and we don't want to, get too into it. But we do want to encourage you to have your hormones checked. Talk to someone who's a specialist in the area of hormones. Down the road, you may opt for hormone replacement therapy. And I'm only going to speak from personal experience. The bioidentical hormones are natural; they don't have all the negative side effects that the other hormones do that are synthetic. So you can get your hormones checked. If you want to just get an overview of it, and we can go to centerforhormonehealthandwellness.com, and you can get a whole overview about hormones. It's a good just educational thing related to it. But hormones and getting those optimized is really something that can help truly with sleep. I know I happen to be a part of Center for Hormone Health and Wellness, and I know we have patients come in all the time who are having terrible sleep problems. Once they have their hormones optimized, their sleep problems go away. Now, that doesn't mean that's your situation, but it is good to always have them checked.
Right.
So there could be a good first step in that. And the bottom line is to talk to your doctor, have your hormone levels checked, see where you are, and that's one medical treatment for sleep. And if you are one of those people who snores a lot, you may have, sleep apnea, which is a potentially life-threatening situation. So you want to make sure if you have obstructive sleep apnea that you have that checked out as well. You want to make sure you get on treatment for that. So it could be related to weight, it could be related to some structural thing. It could be lots of different reasons, but you do want to have that checked out for sure. So we talked a little bit about the medical treatment.
Right. So next week we'll talk about if none of those are your issues and you want to go a natural path first to see if it's just like a external thing or if you're just not taking in the proper diet. We're going to go over that with you. So first you can hit on that, weed things out, and then go, like Carol says, to check with your doctor and get yourself checked out and see if it's something else that needs to be looked at.
Right.
But yeah, so that is it for today, guys, and we will see you back here next week. Tune in. We're going to give you the top 10 foods for you to look at in your diet and see if you are eating those and what may need to be adjusted naturally.
Yep, plus a bunch of other surprises in terms of how to treat your sleep difficulties.
Yep.
All right. See you then.
Have a good day.
All right. And in the meantime, if you're not a part of the Fulfilled After 50 free Facebook group, that was a mouthful. Go to the group in Facebook. It's Fulfilled After 50 and go ahead, request to join. We'd love to have you there. It's such a great supportive community, and we want you to be a part of it too.
Yeah, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get us every day.
All right. Thanks. Take care.